have some of the coolest ass fucking cars on the planet and allow us to build some of the coolest ass cars. Scott Rosenbach.
The GTO is what kind of kicked off our relationship, but yeah, the GN was definitely a banger.
So I called my banker on the way home. I said, hey, I never borrowed any money, and now I need a bunch of it.
Not often talked about on the podcast. So first of all, it's the U.S. Coast Guard. So I don't know. You might know somebody at the marina, but like,
well, we called them.
Yeah, and that was a call, and they're like, all right, yeah.
You guys can make like one run.
They said we can make one pass,
and then we made two. They're like, wait.
Yeah.
They said you could do another one. Though. What's next on the agenda?
In my mind, I built another 5 cars with you guys. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Nice.
Welcome everybody back to Oil and Whiskey. Another episode, another in-person, another banger. Great customer, car enthusiast, business tycoon.
Well, I don't know about that. But
I don't know what tycoon. I don't know what the definition of tycoon is, so we'll just go with
Sounds good on the introduction.
Yeah, tycoon sounds cool.
I think when shit works out, in business, it's
tycoon.
yeah.
Scott Rosenbach. Scott, glad to have you here, man.
Great friend. Yeah, we've
Great
become
friend.
Good friends over the years. So
I appreciate that. I agree.
Good hanging, man.
Yeah, and thanks for having me.
That was
200
long
roughly episodes in, and now I got the invite. So,
dude, well, we floated the invite a while back.
Okay.
It's just
All
been
right.
you're a busy guy, right? We
All right.
wanted to. We needed like a highlight of season 3.
I'm cool
So,
with that.
here
My
we
feelings
are.
No,
not
I
hurt.
think you needed to see that this wasn't just like a hangout session.
Yeah.
Like it was a real thing. Like these actually go somewhere.
Yeah, it's real. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are still going.
I don't know if it's real good, but it's real.
But it's good. It's good.
You
enough
guys
that
are
it's still
good. That's
rolling.
why. And you got, I'm not the only good customer. You got a bunch of them.
Well,
Yeah, we
without
got-
the customers, we wouldn't
Yeah.
be doing nothing but sitting here
And
drinking and nobody listened.
And without Josh's personality, carrying us through this.
Oh,
So
such a.
that's the
You don't know how many
that's the-
times I've
that's
been
the only-
told.
That's the only nice thing you're getting out of me tonight.
You don't know.
It's going to come back tenfold the other direction, though.
I'm going to pop this thing open. This has been sitting on the shelf. It's Phil's, I
Yeah.
think. So thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Phil.
I think it's pretty valuable, but it's a 2014 Angel's Envy, and it's in a box, so it must be
Well, if it's in a box, then
It's
Good. Yep.
cask strength.
So I was super excited 10 years ago. I found it at the liquor store that went out of business by Mom's house.
Yeah,
And this
DeCarlo's
was, yeah,
used to be.
that was like super sought after back in the day when Angel Envy just came out and they did these cask strength deals. Found it, bought it, came home. My wife also went there, found it, bought it, had it sitting on the counter. It's like, oh,
you got two.
yeah, I guess we got doubles now. But
Did you drink the other one?
I opened one. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good.
It is.
super smooth.
You want ice with it, or you need? I got.
I mean,
some
if
ice.
it's not too much.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Over here.
oh, you prepared, huh? Look at you doing your homework. Bringing ice.
Well, I said it's like 118 proof, so you never know.
After as long as I've known you and knowing that you're such a package guy, right? Because you talked about the box being so nice, right? It just dawned on me that I could probably make a decent living just putting like bottles in boxes and selling them to you.
Just shitty,
Old-
shitty stuff in
Old ass shit in a box.
nice boxes.
Look at the box.
That'll
It's-
work. Yep. I thought you were going to go a different direction. You just realized he likes packages.
Come on now. We going there already? Here.
That will be there.
That's got an ice ball in it and an ice cube.
Big cube.
I didn't get a cool little tongue thing, so I don't want to stick my.
Boy, that is dark. Look at the color on that.
I think you're going to like this one.
Where's the ball?
Yeah, there's a ball for you.
Wow, the color on it.
Yeah. The stuff I have at home isn't looking like this, that's for sure.
Well, you're special, so this is special. We brought out a
Thank you.
special bottle.
Damn,
Port wine finish, huh?
good stuff.
Yeah. You slide that all the way down there.
Block the camera.
Yeah, the cameras and the bottle placements become a thing. So, well, Scott, we talked about it at the very beginning. Glad to have you in. Great friend. We've had some of our funnest memories.
Most fun.
Most fun. It's funnest just works.
I know what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
get
the
it.
most fun.
Yeah.
Most
It's
me and Phil had one more fun one than you.
We're gonna get right into it.
That's true.
So it comes up.
You had to bring it right up.
Yeah, it comes up.
Don't worry, it's get brought up every day. What do you want for lunch today? Oh, there was that time we had lunch. That was the F1. You weren't there at that. What does that have to do with lunch?
We had lunch there.
Yeah, dude, there were only so many tickets. You know, it's
there was one too few of tickets. Exactly.
But otherwise, we've done some cool shit. That's some good times.
Sorry about that.
Hey, not
He's
a problem.
over it.
Yeah. No, he's not over it.
Yeah, but
We're not letting it down
It was the
either.
first thing he came.
I think
I could forget about it if everybody else would fucking forget about it and quit bringing it
I
up.
think they're coming back in 2028.
Oh,
But anyway,
Well, we could just, we should go do something that tops that.
we should.
I could take you and leave them back.
That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, just don't do something like too cool. Then, one of these days we're gonna get this Dunes trip done because
know,
that thing we've been hemming and hawing and trying to coordinate for like 3 years.
I know. We need to do it. We
I
need
think-
to just plan it and go.
Me and Scott are just gonna go to Burning Man
Go.
and not take you.
Okay. Take pictures. That's all. It's my only interest in that thing.
No, so you obviously are into a lot of cool shit. Cool ass cars, cool ass boats, a lot of other cool stuff. Before we get into business side of things, when were you attracted to or like cars, like going fast? Was that early age or come along later?
I'll tell you, when I was an infant, probably still in diapers, my grandfather was a mechanic and an electrician, and he was always tinkering on the driveway. And as a kid, I'd be crawling around the car, patting the tires. I mean, it was from right out of the gate. Cars were a passion for me, there's no doubt. And always, in the whole 52 years I've been on this planet, I've been into cars.
Well,
Everyone, you get bit hard early, and then you're just stuck for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean,
Most people-
they're like art, right?
Yeah.
That's why I look at it.
can't explain the draw, but it's just there, and you can't get away from it. And
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot of late adopters. I feel like it's like you said. You're fucking
Yeah.
hooked
Yeah.
early on. Everybody's got that memory of just something, and it's
Yeah.
usually a family member that is responsible for the car fetish. You know.
yeah, seeing there's always that story, like you said, you see the cool guy in the Chevelle or whatever it is, or the guy that took your girl, or the girl that you got to take from that car, or whatever it is. Like, there's always a
There's
story.
Some of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Always. Always those. So, business-wise, and then we'll get into what's allowed you to have some of the coolest-ass fucking cars on the planet and allow us to build some of the coolest-ass cars. Business-wise, you're born and raised Chicago area?
Yep. Right in Palatine.
Right in Palatine.
Yep.
So, granddad mechanic and tinker,
Electrician.
you go through school, high school, all that kind of stuff. Do you have any fucking idea what you want to do with your life?
I got a job at a local repair shop when I was 15. I lied about my age, didn't even have a driver's license. I was changing tires, changing oil, just doing whatever. And, that's kind of how it all started. And my plan was to become a mechanic, work on cars, build cars, whatever. That was it. When I was in high school, I just wanted to graduate and go do that.
Damn. I think ultimately it panned out better because when you can have people do it for you,
Yeah.
it's a nice thing.
Yeah, at the
I
time
love building them, but fuck, it's cool driving them and owning them.
At the time, I didn't realize that. So, where my mind was, we're just going to work on cars and I'll make a living doing it. And
When did that take a turn?
I was probably in my early 20s. I, was presented with an opportunity to start installing these acrylic bathtub liners. And, I was making, I think, $400 a week, $500 a week. And this guy was going to give me $200 more a week than I was making working on cars. And it just, I wouldn't say I was giving up, but it was like, hey, I want to buy a place and really get established. So I'm like, I'll give this a shot. So I went over and started working for him. And, I was always entrepreneurial looking back, as a younger kid. So it wasn't just about showing up and working. I always wanted to try to do better, make more money. And, I started over there and I was quickly promoted to an installation manager. So I was making a little bit more money. I was, telling people what to do. I was kind of getting an understanding of that. And this guy he was a good salesman, but a horrible businessman. And he just he wasn't making the right amount of money. He wasn't servicing his customers the way he should have been. And ultimately went out of business. But I had met other people in the industry through him locally. Met another manufacturing company, went in there, talked to them, and I said, hey, I just want to start my own business. And, that's ultimately what I did. I started, selling these one-day bath systems out of my pickup truck. I'd go out and sell a job, make a little bit of money, run an ad in a local, magazine, get a couple more calls, sell a couple more jobs, and just slowly start building a little business. I was plowing snow in the wintertime at night. I had another guy that was a roofer. I roofed on the weekends when there wasn't a lot of jobs to do, and I was just always hustling, trying to make some money. And as it turned out, the industry that was small, right? And I thought, man, if I could figure out how to make these tubs, I could scale a little bit, and really didn't have much manufacturing experience. Never went to college, but I was always good at surrounding myself with good people. So I just started doing some research. I bought a used thermoformer, met some people who, turned out to be key in helping me develop, the process of making it, and slowly started building acrylic tubs and wall surrounds for remodeling. And as it was getting off the ground, I was being approached by other companies that were small saying, hey, if you can get this going, we'll buy from you too. And it just snowballed.
How old were you when you took the jump and you're like, I'm going to just start a business?
I mean, crazy enough, I was probably 25. I had the factory up and running, and I was rolling at 27. And looking back, like I look at my kids now, my daughter's 27, my son's 24, and I'm like, there's no way.
Wow.
And not that I don't have confidence in them, but they just seem so young to me, that, that was a big risk at that point in my life to go out and, you're signing leases and you're hiring people and taking risk. But
nobody ever told you or asked you what the fuck you're doing, or told you couldn't do it. Not that you would have listened, but
social media wasn't around then.
Was it all positive, or were people saying the same thing? Like you're saying, you're looking at your kids now and you're like, you're fucking too young. You've never manufactured before. What do you know about making tubs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, there were some competitors of mine that looked at me and said, he'll never make it. No one really said it to my face, but, I felt it.
Yeah.
Right. But for me, just, with that entrepreneurial spirit, failure's not an option. We're going to make it work. And, there was no chance of failure. I just, refused to even think about it not working. And of course, as I, continue to build the business, surrounding myself with good people to help me run the day to day was key. And, just, paying attention to what else was going on around me with the industry and just, recognizing the opportunities. And we just kept growing it and growing it and growing it. And, I think it helped that I started young,
right,
for sure.
You didn't know what you didn't know.
Didn't know what I didn't know. I was maybe too young and dumb. I didn't know.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to the success for when stuff starts rolling, early on, like you said, you 27 years old, you got the factory up and running. You're making the first tubs, right? You got to fulfill shipments and orders and stuff. You're like, there's got to be that time or a couple of times where it's like, oh God, what the fuck are we gonna do now? What was where you started questioning, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get out of this? There had to be those things.
Yeah, I never took on any debt. Honestly, I don't think there was a point where I said, oh no, I made a mistake. I shouldn't be doing this. I was just full throttle, moving forward, fully confident that, and again, what my company has turned into today and what I wanted it to be back then was totally different. All I wanted to do was be able to control the quality, have a few good customers, and, be in charge of my world, right? Not depend on another manufacturer who might not have been doing a good job and selling me, subpar products that I would be responsible for with a homeowner. That's just what I was trying to avoid. So
there was no advanced business plan where you're sitting down and you're like, well, here I'm looking like 10 years out, I'll be in 200,000 square feet doing this and that. It's just fuck it, let's just go for it.
No, I mean, I started out of a 2-car garage, and then the first place I rented was 3,000 square feet. Outgrew that, went to 13,000 square feet, outgrew that. And I'm like, okay, I need something a little bigger. Rented a 25,000 square foot building, and then, expanded, went up to 45, and then ended up, renting back one of the smaller buildings because we outgrew everything, and then eventually bought real estate and moved the factory up, to Libertyville. And, that was a huge building. Everyone said I was crazy and I'd never fill it. And now it's one of 3 buildings, and we're still full. We got to move again. So,
were any of those moves feel like a big leap of faith, that there was like any fear that came with them, like jumping into 25,000 square feet and looking at that nut you got to crack?
Yeah.
Think about that, or is it just full throttle still?
The scariest part, I would say, of the whole thing was I never had any debt. So as I could afford to buy stuff and scale the factory, I'd kind of pay cash. I had a partner early on who was older than me, and he decided that he wanted out. He wanted to be bought out. And of course, we had to negotiate. We walked away shaking hands in the end, but it was like going through a divorce. I mean, he wanted a big number. I wasn't comfortable giving him a big number. And, we just had to kind of just play it out. Right. And as that was happening, we had outgrown our building, and it was really restricting us from being productive. It was bad. Like, we were moving stuff into the parking lot during the day just to keep going. And so finally, we had to move. I had my eye on another building, which is the one we're in now, the main headquarters, but I couldn't make a move on it until him and I worked out, our buyout. Yeah. So I had that kind of in my back pocket. Things weren't moving with him. And at the same time, one of my competitors was like on the verge of going out of business. And I had talked to the owner of that company, and he was willing to sell me the business for the debt, which, I'm like, hey, on my worst day, I'm taking out a competitor. Yep. Best day, I'm going to have another brand. I'm doubling down, and we're rolling. But I couldn't make any moves until I had it worked out with
stuck in the mud.
Yeah. So I went in there on a Monday afternoon. I walked in his office. I'm like, hey, you done? You want to be bought out or not? He's like, I'm done. I want to go. I'm like, all right, I'm telling you what, I'm going to shut the door. We're no attorneys, no advisors. We're going to sit there and work this out, and we're staying in here until it's done. And I think at 7:30 that night, we had a deal, and that was it. So I called my banker on the way home. I said, hey, I never borrowed any money, and now I need a bunch of it. I'm buying out my partner, I'm buying this building, and I'm buying my competitor. And, to their credit, they're like, all right, we'll make it happen. And, I took on some major debt, and there were some people that thought I was downright crazy at the time, because there was a lot of things moving at once. And but again, my confidence level was high. I had good people working for me, I had good customers. I knew that business would be there. And as it turned out, it was a home run. I think within a year of getting everything consolidated and in a new building and everybody working together, profit margins started going up. There was more efficiencies due to the increased volume, and we were off to the races, no question. That was really the turning point for me, where the company went to the next level, where I could really start to enjoy the finer things in life.
And you were done with installs at that point?
Oh, yeah. I'd have gotten out of that a while back, yeah. But we still, we teach guys how to install, and so there's, plenty of people working at the company that train on everything. We teach them how to sell, how to install, how to market, more than just manufacturing. So it's built a lot of loyalty over the years, because we've, got guys that'll call us and say, hey, we want to get into this acrylic stuff, which really a lot of these guys remind me of myself when I got going. And they show up with a pickup truck and ambition, and we teach them everything. And these guys have built great businesses, put their kids through college, they're taking nice family vacations, and the loyalty we've gotten over the years is just unbelievable.
That's great.
So it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to help people out and just support them.
Do you have any mentors along the way helping you out or giving you guidance, or was it all just gut and back of the wall and
balls.
having to make?
I mean, yeah, for
nuts.
sure. I'd say when I was working at the repair shop as a kid, the old man that I worked for, probably didn't realize he was a good mentor, but he was a good businessman, and he knew how to treat his employees good. He knew how to treat his customers well. And I definitely will tell you, I learned a lot, and I didn't even realize at the time, just being around him, the influence taught me a lot about just treating people good. So I'd say that was one. The second one was when I was getting into manufacturing, I had really no clue on how to thermoform bathtubs, and didn't have a lot of money. So I had met a guy who was a mold maker, and I just asked him, I said, hey, do you know anybody that does consulting that could come over? I bought this old machine for $3,000. We're having a hard time getting this thing to run. He's like, my dad just retired, and he's sitting at home driving my mom nuts. He'd probably come over for beer money. And he was a thermoformer his whole life. That's what he did. And
relationships.
So I'm like, perfect. and so I called him up. He came over. He looked at everything, and he said, okay, just give me a couple of days. I'll get back to you. And he still at his son was a mold maker, and he was a thermoformer and made machines, stuff. So he still had a little drafting table over there at his kid's place. And so I stopped in, and he said, hey, come in here. I want to show you something. And he had drawn the whole entry system to our first thermoformer. And he said, if you build this, he goes, you'll make perfect tubs. And I said, all right, good. Well, that looks expensive. And he's like, no. He's like, you know what? We'll call a company and just start ordering the steel. We'll fabricate this thing right in your warehouse. He said, it won't be a big deal. He's like, just keep the cold beer flowing. So,
That's got to be your
Hell
best
yeah.
employee.
So he calls up his buddy. We order the steel. We bring it over, and he's standing there, drinking beer and smoking cigars. He's like, tap this, drill that, put this in, and we leveled things off and put it together. And within about a week, we fired it up, and we were making parts. I mean, that was key for sure. And that guy was 68, and he worked for me just a couple days a week, and he stayed working for me till he was probably in his 80s.
Wow.
And really, he helped build equipment and just, make things. And he was retired, so it was keeping him busy. But it was a big help for me because, I didn't have to pay the big money. And that was huge part of the success story for sure.
Yeah, that's a key guy right there.
Yeah.
And that's
He
one in a million.
Yeah. And his son works for me. He's still with me today.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's.
When you mentioned things start rolling, profit margins are good, you start enjoying the finer things in life, right? So there comes a time, like you said, you had a lot of balls in the air, a lot of juggling. You took out a big loan, you're buying out the partner, you're buying another business, you're getting everything rolling. But then there's that kind of that lull of like, take a little breath. You're like, man, things are rolling. What's the thing that pops in your head of like, I can now do this, or I can now afford this, or there's been something I've been thinking about for a long time I want to go do or purchase?
Well, cars were always a thing, but back then it was always one toy, and in order to get another toy, I had to sell the toy I had. So being able to not sell my cars as I was buying more, and ultimately start the collection, that was one for sure. And as you guys know, boating's another passion of mine. And the boats got bigger, they got faster, and and I was, like cars, I was hooked on boating as a kid. My dad was a boater, so that was the second thing that keeps me going. And I think I just got to a point. I'm like, I want to break away from working every day and go boating and have some fun. And the cars are great because you can run those around on the weekends and stuff when the weather's nice. But the boating is it's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
You're around good people, and generally boaters are all the same. They want to go out and have a good time and relax. No matter how small or big your boat is, they're all looking to achieve the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's 100%, man. I mean, I've been out on your boat. That's a couple of them that are just fucking awesome, right? And I got a buddy of mine's got a 18-foot like little wakeboard boat. Yeah. And we go out on just random lakes, and to be honest with you, it's the best time ever. Like, it doesn't matter if you're on a 53-foot boat, 80-foot boat, 18-foot boat. It's just fun, man.
You told me I couldn't get a pontoon boat, though.
Other than a pontoon boat. Yeah, I just got a thing about pontoon boats. I don't know, and they're just
I get it.
It's like probably the only form of boating that I think I pass judgment about the guy driving one.
Even if he's got two big 450s.
Maybe
on
the
it.
450.
That's what I've been. Yeah.
But if
Do you have one before we continue with this?
No.
I think we have a good enough relationship where I could go hard and then walk it back if I needed to. The pontoons aren't that bad.
I'm more concerned with that guy doing 80 in a pontoon with. It looks like the second you let off the throttle, it's just gonna dive and flip over, and they look like deadly violent.
I was just down at Lake of the Ozarks over the weekend, which you guys know it's one of my hangouts, and I was asking a buddy of mine, I'm like, how do those pontoon boats run? He's like, surprisingly, not that bad. I've never been on one, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I agree, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the video? I think it might have been at the Ozarks. There's a dude, it's a while ago. He's doing like 80-mile-an-hour pass in one, and he's got a life jacket on and stuff, and the boat just kind of like slowly turns. Something broke, and the boat slowly turns, and he just like, it's like somebody just kind of pushed him out.
Slow motion.
And, he just falls off the side, and he's rolling around the water. But
Do you think that dude that was in that little dinghy down in the Keys when we blew by him in Scott's boat's watching this right now?
I don't know if he's still alive, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
I don't know if we can even talk about that. But
Well, I mean,
That's as much as we need.
it was just a little wave that he had to take. I mean,
Yeah, but if
60
you're
foot
doing
tall
100,
rooster tail.
if you're doing 140, how fast is the water going that's coming out of the boat? Is it also doing 150 exiting the boat?
if two trains, but one leaves Cincinnati.
yeah. I mean, unless we're on the water on top of it, so are we really pushing a lot of water at that point?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't so bad.
It's just a
Might have
little
been
splash.
refreshing.
Little splash.
Yeah.
There he is. There he's going.
With all the badass toys and stuff you got now, when you were coming up, and business wasn't booming and stuff, was there a project you were like tinkering with, something that you're like, all right, I got a few bucks in my pocket, I'm gonna buy the single plane manifold out of the Jegs catalog this week, or did you not really get into the toys until you started having some success?
No, when I was probably in high school, I had a 78 Camaro that I bought, and I was tinkering with that, but never really got it, running right. It was a project car for sure. I think I bought it with no engine and 2 flat tires, and then bought a used engine off of somebody, and I think we got it running, and the engine was bad, and so we were trying to change parts, and it was obviously very low budget, and I sold it eventually, I think for $500. And the guy did drive it away, so I felt pretty proud of myself that
you got it.
I had to tow it home when I bought it. And
You accomplished something.
Yeah, when he bought it, he drove it home. So
It left better than when you got it.
Yeah, it was an improvement. But I think I got it for like $125, and
Hey, made a few bucks.
I don't know that I made money, but it was a good experience.
What do you see different now in the workforce when you were hiring guys for installs, and then along the way as it continued to grow? I mean, you've been doing this now, what, 25 years?
25 years.
What's different today? I mean, the company's changed a little bit too from what you're hiring. Totally. But even in the last, going through the pandemic and stuff like that, even in the last 5 years, the workforce has changed drastically.
Yeah, definitely, I would say the way we handle people, a bigger HR department, you gotta offer more benefits. You gotta compete with bigger companies, which, I think is a good thing, right? You want to take care of your people. You want to keep them around, so, it's, I think people are people, but, higher level management, that's definitely been something that we've, grown for sure. But I don't know. What do you think? How's the people here since the pandemic?
It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. We got a great, I think our team that we've got right now is probably the best team we've ever had. The guys that we've got are great. Like, new hire, when you're trying to hire, what you get for applications and the level of
who schedules an interview and then actually shows up for it.
Yeah, I guess that's where I'm seeing the most of the changes, like the level of detail put into the level of effort. I say the level of effort put into the application process, whether that be returning the email, leaving the correct information, filling out the application. And then you look at some of these,
or even taking the time to look at where the
location
job
is.
is located.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Oh, Illinois, fuck that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's different. And then you see in some of these guys, like their work history, like 6 jobs in the last 2 years. And it's 3 months, 5 months, 3 months, 2 months.
That's what I always look at too when I'm looking at application. If that guy's changing job every 2 years or less, like what's the expectations? He's going to be a lifer, right? Or she?
Yeah.
I guess I should be careful, but
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know if I need to be.
You should be careful. It's 2024,
Yeah,
Scott.
I know.
Come on.
But I'll say, like, during COVID, when we were growing, I'm sure you guys felt that too. There was a lot of demand, right? So you were taking people and, dealing with stuff that you probably wouldn't deal with when things are more steady like they are now, right? So I always say, like, when you hit a growth spurt, you kind of throw your resources at it, and things maybe get a little sloppy, and then it levels off, and then you kind of lean it back out, right? You try to stick with the better people, and the ones that are subpar, cut them loose.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's been interesting. We've been doing a lot of hiring here in the last probably 3 or 4 months. It's
I'm usually
amazing to see what you get.
Front line of defense on just vetting resumes, and so you get when you're running a welder ad, you could get a couple hundred maybe, and I just yard them out. If it's that 1 year, different jobs, gone.
Forget it.
I don't care how
Totally.
good of a welder you are. It's like, well, a year goes pretty fast, and you're going to come in here. By the time we get you trained, they're gone too. You know?
Right. I mean, one of the things we do, and not with the hourly people so much, but if it's someone in a management position and we kind of get to that final interview, I take them out drinking.
Really?
Take them out for dinner, get a couple drinks in them. You can learn a lot.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'm telling you.
Hey,
You know
it makes
what?
a lot of sense.
You know what? If people relax, have a couple drinks, dinner, just kind of hang out. You know,
What's the
talk about
success
life.
rate with those of hiring after that?
Good, because it's at the final interview. You know, so
You know a
pretty
good bit
feeling.
at that point.
Yeah,
You can also crash and burn.
totally. I mean, think about that. You know, I normally don't drink, but tonight is an exception. So okay, let's go. And then
Jaeger bombs.
they start getting noisy and sloppy, and yeah, I don't know if this is a good
You know, my
idea.
last fucking boss, he was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You like jokes? So and so and so walk into a bar.
I mean, you'd be surprised as I think about it. Some of the things I learned in those, you know,
That's where my head went instantly.
Yeah, a lot of, and it's okay because at least you know what you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we've done, I mean, a little bit of that. We'll bring guys in for like a working interview. And because we get a lot of guys that are relocating from out of state, so we'll bring them in, do a working interview, and then it's typically on like a Friday, and we'll have some beers and stuff. And yeah, it is, some stuff comes out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
Some good, some not so good.
Right. You
And
know.
it does help. That's
right.
good.
I mean, it could be going through a divorce, you know, so they're, you know, kind of dealing with getting
Yeah.
their head straight, and at least you know.
Yeah.
You
The one
know?
thing we've never done, which I don't know if I should like publicly announce this, is any
Say
sort of.
probably not because your judgment
you're
is
thinking-
usually questionable.
I mean, I
Rip it.
staff,
Let it rip.
Yeah.
I pretty much staff the shop, so I'd say the judgment's all right.
Get
on,
after it.
on what to say versus not what.
No,
not to
just
say.
I'm talking like background checks and stuff with people because there's some of the best guys here have worked here for a long time and have maybe done some questionable things
Yeah.
in their past.
Yeah.
But like I'd look past that. I'm looking for fucking skill, you know?
Hey.
Yeah.
I don't
Sales guys are the same thing. You're hiring sales guys. If they're good, you know, they're pretty much going to have some history.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, it's personality, right? I mean, as long as, you know, it's not bad, but, you know, things happen.
Hey,
Case in point.
glass houses. Huh?
Yeah, John, I mean the amount we've said we hired your ass. I mean, we've been sitting through these podcasts and he's exactly right because we've been sitting through these podcasts drinking with you. And the shit that comes out. If I'd have known all that,
There's nothing that you learned that you didn't already know.
there's a lot.
You've had 87 different jobs. Like
Yeah.
we learn about a new one every week.
I've done a lot of shit. I've only had like 3 major
I think
jobs,
you're like
but
a
I've just
fucking
done.
time traveler. Honestly, I think the amount of jobs you've had, the things you've done.
I started working at 14 years old. I'm 46. A long ass time.
Yeah. Ancient.
I've just done a lot of things. Traveler, man. I'm a world traveler.
Yeah, but you've been here for a long time. So,
Yeah.
you know, you guys are solid, the three of you.
Yeah.
It's been a good team.
Separate.
Yeah. I mean, when I first met you guys, you were already tight.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a lot of years.
We just got such a relation. We just lift each other up.
Yeah.
It's just all about affirmation, and you know, you can tell when the guy's having a bad day, and you don't want to pile on.
Well,
so
why
you
don't
tell
you,
him a
why
good.
don't you help Scott understand that? Because you were lifting me up today. You know, just go through some of your inspiring words, right?
It's been. We've all had our days over the last couple of weeks. It's been a struggle. We're trying to really ramp up on some stuff. Production as one, and get a lot more chassis out the door. Jared's trying to get a lot more cars wrapped up and finished up here at the last minute and take care of some customers. We got a lot of stuff at the other facility, so everybody's had their moments over the last few weeks. I'm taking Jared over just a couple hours ago to the other shop to get his truck, and you can just tell he's in one of those pissy pants moods, and so he's telling something about doing this, and I'm telling a story and stuff like that. And you can just tell it's like fucking pissing me off. It's getting me down, right?
Yeah.
And he's done the same thing to me before. So I asked him, I was like, "You want me to turn the seat heater on over there?" He's like, "Why?" Like, maybe it'll dry up those piss ass fucking pants that you've got on. If whatever it'll take to cheer you the fuck up. Like, suck it up. And then I ask you
Well,
a
then when
few
we
other
came,
things.
then when we came back, then he comes up and he like pinches my pants and he's like, "Did those pissy pants dry up?" Scott's gonna be here pretty soon.
He's like, "Yeah, these are moisture wicking. They're dry. I'm good."
It's,
But you've got to do that.
you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to, sometimes you got to get people to snap out of a funk,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you were in a funk.
We've all been there.
Josh snapped you out of it.
It worked.
Yeah.
It's a great relationship. really
Good.
is. You just gotta have thick ass skin.
We used to work out across the street when that gym was over there, you know?
Yeah.
So pre-COVID stuff, we were working out fucking all the time. And I remember we were working out, it was in the wintertime. And we'd always we'd go lift and then leave and then go to Starbucks, right? And we're driving through and he was complaining about something. I think he had a cold. He gets horrific colds.
Shut the
When a cold, it doesn't happen much, but when a cold comes, it's like a fucking almost about to die. And so, it was like sniffling nose and all stopped up, and he kept complaining like, man, I can't fucking breathe. My nose. And that was when it was finally brought out of, hey, if you know what you should try. And it was
like,
that look in his face of like, oh, you got something that's going to help out. Like what? What should I try? You could just try just quit bitching about it. Just quit bitching about it and then see what happens. And that was that look in the face of like.
It was great advice.
And like, yeah.
It stuck with me.
Is it?
I use it all the
So
time.
yeah, we use it on the kids now.
You think to yourself, and right?
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't
I use it on the kids. I use it on my wife. And it's great when you deliver that to
probably
somebody
goes.
because if you do it in such a compassionate way, like, oh, you know what might help
They
with that?
think they're getting relief.
Yeah, and they're like, because I've been through that, and it actually helps. A friend of mine taught me this, and if you would just quit fucking bitching about it, you know, it'll probably go away.
Yeah, it's great for everybody else too.
I think I'm going to use that. I like that. That's good. Yeah.
But no, the relationship's been great, and the thick skin. We've talked about it 100 times. The thick skin changes everything.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly where somebody's coming from.
Yep.
You know that you can say it how you feel it, right? You can say it's a stupid fucking idea, or you made a mistake, or hey, do you need help, or whatever it is. And you also you make life decisions throughout, the weekend. Your wife's like, hey, I bought you some new shoes. You're gonna take those back. I can't wear those around my friends.
Like those Birkenstocks or whatever, like sandals.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these? I just can't wear them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like them, but I,
I
can't
do.
wear 'em.
I like them.
Yeah, I'd love to
They're
have
good for you. But
Dude, I had a jacket that I loved. I loved that jacket. It was warm.
Where is that? Not that
It's
I
gone.
care, but
It's fucking
as long
gone.
as it's not here.
That puffy
I don't think
jacket
anything
is
pissed him off more than your green jacket.
burned. That jacket.
Yeah.
No, it was the blue. The green
No, it was the
jacket's fine.
green-
The green jacket's fine.
No, that's the one you always hated. The green fucking puffy Under Armour jacket.
No,
wasn't it?
yeah.
The
It
Under
wasn't
Armour
green, it
jacket was
black.
blue
Yeah.
Like
or black.
Yeah.
The green one's the one that saved my life.
Okay.
Green was the one that
Are you able
the
to
scooter
shoot
tumble.
him straight like that? Tim's emotional.
Yeah.
So can you shoot him straight like that, or is,
it depends. He's, at the wrong time, he gets upset. He's definitely sensitive. There's no doubt. And sometimes he tries to like gloss over it. So you got to know him when you can hit him and when you can't.
Okay.
But, unlike, when it's the other way around, he dishes it out.
he
doesn't
can
hold
get
back
ruthless.
Yeah.
dude? Yeah, I've heard
He's-
some with
he's
him, and
hurt.
I'm like, oh my god, that's that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have had like a Shirley Temple sitting right here.
In
for
honor?
her, just like, yeah.
But he doesn't order it as a Shirley Temple. He orders the ingredients.
Well, I call,
And they're always like, you want a Shirley
that's
Temple?
what he does. So I call him Timmy Temples now when we go out. I'm like, he's a dude. It's okay. It's a Timmy Temple,
It's like, hey, can I get a glass and
In the
some
glass.
ice and
A little bit of Sprite.
Yeah, a little bit of
Just like
Sprite.
a-
And
yeah.
I mean, if
Like
it's not
3
too
fingers of
trouble,
Sprite.
maybe in the bag, throw a little grenadine.
Just a couple little
syrup.
shakes of grenadine.
It's like, hey, just order the fucking Shirley Temple.
right? Well, that's why I say Timmy Temple, and then they look at me like it's like a Shirley Temple, but it's for him. So, we renamed it like he's a kid, just to make him feel good.
2 cherries.
I can't tell you how many times I've ordered it, and like the waiter or the waitress just totally ignores it. Comes back with the drinks, and I'm like, where's the...
She thought you were fucking with her.
Yeah, she's like, really? I'm like, oh, yeah. This is what he drinks. Not too much sugar, because he gets crazy.
He's
gotta
gonna
watch
love
it.
this. He was not only was he not invited, he's getting shredded the whole
He
time.
can't even defend himself.
That's the perfect time. Just keep hitting him.
So car wise, you bought a couple cars. At what point were you like, I want something badass. I gotta have something built.
I think when we were in, what was that, Tennessee, Georgia? We were talking about the Grand National.
Oh.
Are we going fast
Yeah,
forward
well,
into that?
there-
Wait, where-
well,
Or are
you
we
had a
going
few in
all
between
the
that.
way back?
There was some stuff back
I think the
before
first, well, the GTO is what kind of kicked off our relationship.
Yep.
But was it before the GTO that we were buttoning up that kind of disaster of a project that you
Well,
had?
Yeah.
kind of going on.
We don't like to talk about that one.
Yeah, but we put it together.
Yeah, I learned my lesson on that. No, so what happened was I came in with the GTO, talked to Phil, and then when he came over to look at it, I had that Camaro sitting there. I'm like, hey, dude, can you help me figure this thing out? And, you did. But we ended up just selling it and get rid of it because there was no, it was a lost cause.
So when you came in and you met Phil, was that just like strictly a convenience thing that you're like, well, they're pretty close, so I'll just deal with these fucking
This
guys?
dude's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
I took him for a ride in Chris's Chevelle, and that played a
Oh,
deal.
okay.
Yeah,
So it was
100%.
Yeah.
I was just driving by. I'm like, hey, they look like they build cool cars here. I'm going to go in and talk to them. And
Saw Phil's Miata parked out front. You're like,
yeah.
race cars. These guys know speed.
Yeah. I mean, we were here for a while, so you must have been cruising. I mean, how long was your place in Libertyville?
So
What
we moved
year?
in there around 16, I think we moved in. So
And
I had
when
known
did
you guys
you-
were here, but
Okay. So, yeah, it wasn't until later in life.
yeah,
that
I
you were
just came
passing
by,
here.
stopped in. Me and Phil started talking. We hit it off, and it was it. Game on.
Yeah, the GTO kicked it all off, right? And that was like your uncle's car, wasn't it?
So it was my uncle's car. He bought it. It was an original, and he never really drove it. It was in the garage. The seat was out of it. The right front tire was off. He was always tinkering with it. And we'd go over there for Thanksgiving. He'd be like, hey, you want to hear it run? He'd start it up. And my aunt's like, when he dies, you can have it for $1. And I'm like, all right, well, you let me know. Well, he got sick of the car sitting in the garage. So he, calls me. He's like, hey, you want it? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take it. And so I tried to offer him money for it. He's like, no, just take it. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to redo this car. I'm going to come over and take you for a ride. And ultimately, that's what I did.
What do you think?
He, when he
Yeah, you fucking ruined this thing. This is a
That's
numbers
exactly
match.
he's like, when I told him what I was doing, I was talking about it. He's giving me a dirty look. He's like, what are you doing? And, after the car was done and, I think, in the magazine, we had a nice spread. He my aunt's like, he takes that out for everybody. He's so proud of that.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
That's cool.
It's all good. We,
You guys made amends on it.
we made amends. Yeah. He was definitely,
I mean, it's very true to form, and the car like definitely pays respect to what it was. It's very stock appearing.
100%.
Yeah,
No doubt about it. I
just
mean,
better.
it's,
Classiest looking thing we've built.
Yeah.
yeah.
just-
I mean, it's very sentimental to
Yeah.
me. I love it. And, the compliments I get on that car are unbelievable.
It
No
looks
doubt.
cool when you came rolling in here for the oil change and stuff. It's interesting when you don't see him for a while and then you see it in action.
Yeah.
It's striking car.
Yeah.
It is.
I always thought that car had cool lines. It just had a sinister type look to it, the way it was designed.
Yeah.
I always loved it.
I've always that your car specifically. It always looks like it's got more shine. Like there's more things to sparkle.
Yeah.
Like than a lot of cars that we've done. Same amount of chrome, same amount of
We added the crystals to it.
added the crystal.
That-
But
yeah.
it's got like facets and edges, and it's always looks like it's like a little shinier.
Yeah. That car fought us a little bit on the tail end.
You did.
Too.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was terrible time. That car, we were wrapping it up, and I'll never forget because the timing wasn't great. I'm in Florida, picking up my old man who wasn't doing well at the time, and I've got, I forget if it was Chad or John, and the painters calling me because we just couldn't get this damn wave out of the quarter. You would get this thing laser straight, and then you'd bake the car, and you pull it out, and it just had this subtle little deflection in the quarter, and it was just the fucking quarters. It's a long ass quarter, and the car's laser straight, and to have that one imperfection was just driving me nuts. And I'll never forget. I was actually in the Keys, standing on the dock, and it's just order some fucking quarter panels. We're cutting the fucking quarter panels off. We're putting new fucking quarters on the car, and that was, finished, painted, sanded, buffed car. So we put new quarters on it, and it's beautiful now. So you gotta stick with them until to get them right. Sometimes they fight you.
Well, hey, you know what? That speaks to your quality, right? And your integrity. I mean, I remember when Phil was breaking that news to me, he's like, man, I got bad news, And he's like, we got issues with the quarters, and, we got to cut them off and redo it. And I'm like, hey, you do what you got to do. And I appreciated that. You guys made it right.
It was a little delay. But in the end, I think it was worth it, Minor setback.
Lost a couple months there, but
It's okay.
big picture was the right call.
Yeah. No
Gotta make it
doubt
right.
about
Gotta make it right.
No doubt about it.
I still remember the conversation of the vinyl roof. This was like before like the whole big stock restoration trend was kind of going on, and got the car painted. And he said, "Like, I think this thing needs a vinyl roof." Like, you're fucking crazy. You're not putting a vinyl roof. Like, nobody put vinyl roofs on cars.
Yeah,
Anything that's been restored or
they
customized.
almost looked at like Lando tops back then.
Yeah.
You know, like who does that?
Yeah.
You take those off.
He just kept going, no, this one needs the vinyl top. Like, I can't sell that to Scott. There's no way I'm going to call him and say we're putting a vinyl top on it. And then we put the vinyl top on, and it looks a million times better. Would look horrible without it. Almost.
Yeah, it looks good. But that one goes back to, that's like a Matchbox car thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I remember having one of those, and it had red lines and everything, and it was like
The black top.
just stuck in my head for some reason. It looks good. Certain cars lend
There's only
themselves
a
really
handful
well.
that can do it.
I remember having that conversation with Phil, and you're like, normally we wouldn't put a vinyl top on a car like this, but in this case, we're going to recommend it. And I was like, okay. I was not, in my mind, the vision I had was definitely no vinyl top. And
it was mine all day.
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let these guys do their thing. They're good at what they do. And every time I look at that car, I think about that, and there would be no other way to do that car without the vinyl top. It's just sick. It really adds to the character.
It worked. If only we could have done a vinyl quarter panel.
Yeah.
We'd have made a few bucks on the car.
Put some matte black Mopar billboards on the quarter panel.
Yeah. But it is a gorgeous car.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
Where's the conversation go next after the GTO, or is it through the GTO when you're like, man, I really enjoy this process. I think this thing's gonna be pretty cool. If they hit their marks and they do what they say they're gonna do, I'm thinking about doing this next.
Well, I love the process. I love seeing, the progress on the car, the excitement, all that. Of course, the end result was just amazing. Again, work of art, right? And I'm like, man, I told these guys, I'm like, I want to keep going. Let's build some cool shit. And we're still going. And I still got, I don't know what I'm going to do with all the cars.
rolling.
In my mind, I built another 5 cars with you guys. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Nice.
But
yeah, the GN was definitely a banger, which is cool because that's, the industry. We've had so many people on this podcast, and everybody always wants to talk about like what's coming next and when are you going to do, like when are the IROCs coming and when are people going to start doing the Fox bodies and the Grand Nationals. So you're kind of like the stereotype of like that age group, in the early 50s. That obviously that car must have appealed to you. I mean, you grew up
I couldn't afford it. I mean, they were so cool. I couldn't afford a Grand National, so it just wasn't an option. And now, here's my shot, right? But I got, you guys, and there's a lot more technology out there. So let's build this thing just, off the chain.
Yeah, it's off the chain. That's for sure.
That's probably my favorite car that we've done to drive.
Yeah.
I love driving that car. It's the first car we brought it because it wasn't really like sorted when we brought it out to SEMA. We brought it to SEMA. I mean, it was running, tuned, and all that, and we had to drive it. You drove with me. We had to drive it from from the SEMA show because we always parked the rig, a couple miles away.
Yeah.
And we're driving this thing, and you're like, holy fuck.
It's like it's floating.
Yeah, this car is awesome.
It's like it was like an S-Class.
Yeah, it was cool as hell.
I love driving that car.
We kept thinking. Remember, we were talking about it, and we kept thinking we were overhyping it to ourselves. So we were rolling windows down and up, remember, and then radio off and doing stuff. And it was kind of like, are we? Is it really as good as we think it is? Are we just like
You were in Vegas for 10 days. There was substance in it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we kept thinking. We're like, no, we're stone cold sober. Everything's good. Like, this thing's really that good. When you're like starving and you eat at a restaurant, you're like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Right.
And then you're like, I think I was just hungry.
Yeah. Or you're drinking.
Yeah.
And you're eating it.
Yeah.
And
We
it
were
tastes
sober.
good. And then
We
you
were
eat that
sober.
same food sober, and you're like, that's the way I remember
that
it.
place sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we kept talking about how good it was. There was something cool about that night, though, anyway. Just seeing everything, like the lights lit up and the dash lit up and how good it was riding and driving. And that was a very unique experience.
Yeah.
It's got to be like the meanest looking car there is. Those cars always look. I was never a GN fan, but when you see one that sits right, looks right, it's such a sinister, like evil looking car.
Oh, no doubt. No question. And I got to say, I was at I took it to a car show few weeks ago, and I just noticed the plate you guys put under the hood and what it said, which was awesome.
Yeah, we
I
tried to
love that.
sprinkle a little humor in
Yeah,
there.
Easter eggs.
Well, we
Easter
had
eggs.
some haters out there for sure that
Yeah.
weren't too happy with us taking that car apart.
Yeah, that surprisingly, I think it was pretty well received. I mean, unanimously well received. Versus the haters were pretty minimal.
Weird fucking Buick guys that are in their basement.
Yeah.
That's just the way it
Much
is.
like the guy we bought the car from.
That's
Right?
the single
yeah.
weirdest. If I
He was
got
a weirdo,
if I
too.
would have gotten molested by that dude, that would have been totally on you.
Yeah.
you sent us to look at this thing.
I was nervous when
I
I was in
thought-
his garage and you guys were
Yeah, I
on
thought
the
he was.
driveway.
I thought he was going to take me inside. I thought I wasn't coming back out. This was
Yeah.
the strangest dude we've ever encountered. Did you found the car, right? Or did I find it?
No, I think you found it.
You found it, and
Yeah,
then
because he was a Fiero guy too, so
Oh.
that's where you had that connection.
Yeah.
And-
Because we were struggling to find him without the side trim. Everything we found, we were going to originally do it as a Survivor.
right.
And then you got all crazy and you're like,
Well, I don't know. If that was,
These ideas.
I mean, I don't know that was all my fault. I think when
Scott-
we had to put the flares on over the wheel
Yeah.
wells, that's when the whole car needed to be
I'll take the
repainted.
blame.
I-
I'll take the
Scott
blame.
called. It's like, I think we need to flare this thing. I'm like, oh, my brother's not going to like that idea.
I remember the conversation when it was still going to be flared and not like do a full paint.
We tried.
because you were telling me like, oh, we're just going to put the flares on. I was like, that's not. I don't see that.
We tried. We did try.
That's okay.
It makes the whole car.
It does for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just like to get the tire fitment on those. That's absolutely key. The car looks just sick because of the way the tires sit in. You never get that.
Yeah.
they
They're
end
like
up
fake flares, right? On the original ones where it's you
Well, it's
can't
a
get a tire up and in it.
Yeah, it's a
inner-
flare. There's a flare in the outer panel, but the inner, well, that'd be the outer wheelhouse is so fat
You can't
that
get the
it's
tire
like,
up.
yeah, the tire sits way inboard of it and just looks odd.
Yeah.
But it
Turned out cool.
The car's badass. I mean, I love driving it. I love just looking at it.
Yeah.
And of course, it's fast as hell. So, it's just a little press on the accelerator and you're ripping.
Yeah.
It's the first one that scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
I keep it in the 1300 tune because
Okay.
it's that you can, as soon as the turbos kick in, you could pretty much, smoke it, but it's not like insane,
Yeah. Yeah, it's half. I mean, it's manageable. It's
Yeah.
not. It won't hurt you.
Yeah.
The full boogie tune it's a little frightening.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt.
180 mile an hour burnouts.
Yeah, it goes so fast. It gets there like it's ridiculous how quick that car is. And that was the first like big horsepower turbo car we did.
Yeah.
We done a ton of blower, like Whipple superchargers and stuff, and they're so damn torquey, that it just blows the tires off, and they're fun, and you bang gears and stuff with them, but you don't get that like mile an hour like that car. That car just like before you know it, you're doing like 150, 160
Yeah.
like
No
instantly.
question. And it's just the way
Wheel
it
speed.
pushes you in the
Land
back.
speed's about
back of the
120.
seat.
Yeah, you're just like stuck to the seat.
Yeah. It just pushes you back and you're accelerating. No doubt.
How's the thrill stack up between that and doing like, what have you been like 150 something on the water?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a little bit of a different experience, but the adrenaline rush is very similar for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I've got a video of the 161 on the back
that
of the
what we
seat.
did?
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was down in the Keys, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
I got a new one coming in probably in about a month, and it should be the fastest one yet.
They just keep going faster with those things.
Yeah, I mean, their technology, they keep making them faster and cooler, and of course, I'm the one that's like, hey, I'll take one. Let's see what we can do.
That's not often talked about on the podcast. So Jesse was with us, remember? Greening.
Yeah.
When we were doing the road tour thing. But the power move, you got the boat, we got it set up. We're going to do the shots with the Camaro, right? You're driving the Camaro in the boat. The Coast Guard's got that closed down, because of the cruise ships.
Yeah,
And
That was a,
no problem. We'll get through there. And I mean, I'm like,
that was a power
this-
move.
First of all, it's the U.S. Coast Guard, so I don't know.
don't
You
fuck
might
around
know
with us.
somebody at the marina, but like,
well, we called them.
yeah, and that was a call, and they're like, all right, yeah,
You guys can make like one run.
They said we can make one pass.
and then we made two. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They said you could do another one.
Well,
though.
we totally screwed that one up with the drone. We missed it.
Yeah.
But, we decided to just ask for forgiveness at that point.
Yeah.
Well, it's government
Government cut.
Yeah. Yeah. So for everybody listening, I mean, that's like in Miami, that's where all the cruise ships are lining up, right? And the Coast Guard's got it just shut down for probably safety reasons. Or why do they?
Yeah, I think after 9/11 they started.
When there's
closing
cruise
it.
ships docked, it gets locked up.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they must have looked at us and thought we were probably upstanding citizens. I guess
We
I
did
don't know,
question-
or Scott's
They
personality.
questioned Jesse with that beard. They're like,
They didn't see us as a
out of the
threat.
boat. But that's got
was
to
a
be the
run.
coolest picture that exists.
oh man.
Yeah.
The picture that the Camaro. What's the highway there?
That's the causeway.
the causeway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boat's throwing a massive roost. The Camaro's riding next to it. Mercury motor in the Camaro. Mercury motors in the boat.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Phil because you had to be a nervous wreck of like timing it in traffic, going back and forth and doing the stuff.
Screaming at him on the walkie-talkies. Like, we see the boat, we're going. No, wait, we don't have the drone up. We're fucking going, get the drone up. And we were just screaming at him back and forth, and I think they got like 2 or 3 decent shots out of it.
Yeah. The car to car, like the car across the car, I think was still one of the like you said, the greatest shot. It was just staged perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not like you could just keep doing takes. Like it was
No, it was
you get a shot and that's it.
It
we
looks
got
like
the money shot though.
that's like straight out of Bad Boys.
It is.
No doubt. No
It's
doubt.
going to go Miami Vice.
Yeah, I guess if they
Yeah, that was a fun trip just in general.
It was. I really enjoyed that. We should do that again. That was great.
We got to. What's the new boat? What's new on it? What are they doing?
So MTI redesigned that hull on the 48. It's called the 482 now. So it's just newer technology. It's a wider tunnel, longer running surface, and they built one, and it's the demo boat, Randy's demo boat, and so I'm getting number 2.
Okay.
And he put 1100 motors in his, and mine's going to have the 1550 motors.
Nice.
So we're going for it. See how fast we can get this thing going.
What do they think it'll do?
Well, they don't really want to say, but unofficially, my boys are telling me they think they can get it going 190.
Holy shit!
I won't go that fast, but
You've got dudes. I mean, you got some
yeah,
good drivers that'll
Yep.
get in the boat and run it.
yep.
Like
They'll set it up with the props and whatever, and get a good number out of it.
that's cool.
And,
And we had Randy on the podcast. I think mostly courtesy of you.
Yeah.
That was great.
But
super good guy.
yeah, Randy's
awesome
an awesome
businessman.
guy. The boats are so sick. The attention to detail, the fit
Yeah.
and finish. They're very impressive machines. Like being on that boat. I've been on a lot of boats. Being on those cats. I mean, the MTIs. It's just man. They're like it's a fucking machine.
There's no
like,
doubt.
They are performance machines. You go on there's a lot of stuff that you can hang motors on, and like it's big outboards, big,
That's
stern
purpose-built.
drives. But that's
Purpose-built.
a boat that you're like, you feel comfortable
Yeah.
in it. It's,
You feel safer
Yeah.
than you'd think, right?
yep.
There's no doubt.
I don't know if I should, like,
Right.
but
There's been times it was a little hairy.
No, you're having like normal conversations doing like 130.
Yeah. The wind's going right over you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we went down there. It's like, oh, we'll go for lunch. All right, where are we going to go? We'll run down to the Keys. That's like a 3-hour drive by car. It's got to be 2.5, 3 hours by boat. 45 minutes later,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're down there doing $130, $150 the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah, it was badass, dude. I mean, I'm thankful for you and also pissed off at you at the same time because the things that you've exposed us to are amazing, like once in a lifetime experiences. But at the same time, like we've been going down to the Keys our entire life. And like it takes fucking like 3 hours to get down to the Keys, And we're like, we land, you're on a boat, boom, you're down in the Keys eating lunch in like 30 minutes, boom, you're back up
Yeah.
in Fort Lauderdale 30 minutes later.
It's ruined a lot of things.
Yeah. Sorry about
But
that.
hey,
It's all right.
Wouldn't
I'll
wouldn't
accept
trade it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it. Yeah, it was amazing experiences.
There's no doubt. It's cool. It's cool stuff for sure. So I love it. Definitely, one of the finer luxuries of my success is being able to afford nice boats and hang out with good people and be a part of that.
and Tim.
And Tim, but Tim, he doesn't go as much with me anymore. I don't know. He's
Tim, I feel like he's just like overbooked. I think he's
does.
biting off too much right now.
yeah. I mean he's definitely got
I think
his
he's gonna
hands full.
crack.
He's got his fingers in a lot of pies right now.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Or not at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally. This is great that we can rip on him.
Yeah.
On himself.
You have no idea how many pies his fingers have been in.
I don't think any, honestly.
Best piece of advice you've ever received.
Jeez, I'd have to think about that. I've gotten a lot of good advice over the years.
I think it's better. Let's switch it because you should
Okay.
be best piece of advice that you would give to somebody. I mean, young guy is somebody that's got a little entrepreneurial spirit. What would you tell a dude?
You gotta take care of your customers, and you gotta take care of your employees, your people that work with you. You gotta treat your people good. You just gotta be straight. You know, you treat them good, you take care of them, they'll keep coming back. And it's amazing. You know, people have asked me over the years, you know, what's your keys to success? And it's simple. It's quality and service. Take care of your customers, provide a good quality. And it's if you think about it, it's crazy how many people run businesses and gloss over that.
Yeah.
And they just, you know, their quality's not great. They really don't take care of people. They're kind of entitled, and you know, they struggle because of that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's 100%. We've talked about on this podcast before. It's funny how many conversations you have just like that. It's funny how people, even well-meaning people that care about the business and care about like making sure that Roadster Shop succeeds. You know, we've had people in positions before and stuff. Like, hey, we need to send this bar back or send one of these bars out next day air to so and so. I mean, we got to get the other bar back first, and then like. What about, we're not going to charge him? Why are we spending dough? Just send it.
Take care of customers.
Take care of
Take care of
them.
'em.
It's at the end of the day, we're talking like $150 total.
Yeah.
But that's going to mean that guy needs it.
Yep.
Right. Well, why does he need it? Well, he's staying all night long. He's missing his child's birthday. They got to get this car to take care of that customer, to take it to that show, to make it happy. So he needs the part.
Yeah.
Like let's do that.
No doubt. I mean, I'll tell you, you know, that reminds me, you know, thinking back when the company was smaller and I was, you know, more hands-on in the day-to-day, and I'd be doing stuff for customers, and some of my employees would be like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't need to do that. Like, you know, it's like, no, I'm just going to take care of them. It's the right thing to do. And because that does come back tenfold. There's no doubt about it. You got to just, you know, do what's right. And, you know, you being in the position I'm in now as a manufacturer, we have home improvement companies that buy our product, right? And so they deal with the consumers. We don't so much. I mean, we will get in the middle of it if a consumer comes to us with an issue or whatever, and we'll help deal with it. But I can't tell you, over the years, having, you know, conversations and giving advice to our dealers, and they're like, well, this homeowner's, you know, they're wrong, they're taking advantage of me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know, this is not about who's right or wrong. Yeah. This is about just, you know, business and getting it done. And it, you know, so you got a bad apple, you just get it taken care of, and you move on to the next one. And you just don't get hung up on it. Don't, you know, so you gotta pick and choose your battles.
So
business.
you take care of the bad apple.
Yeah.
In a positive way. So,
Absolutely. I mean, you know, sometimes you just, you know, you don't want someone blowing you up on social media. Just take care of it, you know?
So because I received, you know, we talk about like best piece of advice. I got a lot of good advice. Well, I just got a lot of advice from my dad. You know, like when we would, if something would fuck up, you know, we were in business together, and if something would go wrong, he'd be the first guy. I mean, he had a lot of success in his career. He's basically retired, and he'd jump in a truck and drive 1,500 miles nonstop, just sucking down truck stop coffee to go pick up a chassis to bring it back because he absolutely wanted to make sure it was perfect. But at the same time, if somebody was out of line, I mean, there's been a customer that was dragged or forcefully removed from the shop, you know, by his shirt, like when the guy was out of line.
Blatantly wrong.
So
I mean, there's always a time for that. Right?
right. So it's they were hard. It was a hard line in the sand there.
Well, we talk
But
about
that was pre-social media.
you couldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't.
do that
couldn't
now.
get it right.
You can't do this
different era.
anymore.
You got to run your business a little differently today. You probably was no camera phones, no social
No.
media.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean, you can't.
before all
you
that.
know.
I talk about it with
Also,
the guys.
don't put your phone number on the back of your truck when your dad's driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me once, and you know, we got a call. Somebody was using our truck, one of our customers, and I think it was Dimitri actually, and you know, we got a call because he cut somebody off, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, well, you put your name all over the truck, dude. I mean, what, you know, it's like it's my fault, you know.
I'm gonna cut people off.
Yeah.
Just don't let them know how to get in touch with
You
me.
let me use the truck, dude, and put your name on it. Okay, what, you know, you had to assume this was a possibility.
We have to take the cake for the ultimate complaint on that one. You fielded the phone.
I got the phone call of a disgruntled person who was cut off by a 75-foot long semi with a giant RS logo on the side and the phone number on the back, who then also got a cup of coffee thrown at them by the guy driving it. Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry we've had problems with that driver. I will talk with him when he gets back. Yeah. Hey, Dad, quit fucking throwing coffee at people.
Those were the days.
Yep. Bet he learned a lesson. I bet the dude did. Or the lady did.
Yeah.
Probably.
My dad did not.
No, he didn't need to learn a lesson.
He didn't.
He was teaching a lesson. Yeah. And the person teaching the lesson doesn't need to learn a lesson.
Interesting.
No, I talk about this with the guys on the chassis shop side and at the other facility as well. I'm sure if anybody's listening, I sound like a broken record, but the customer service thing is just like we do on management style. Is you got to eliminate excuses. Don't let them have any excuses. So make sure we're doing our job to eliminate all excuses. And then you look at the customer service like you're paying into a piggy bank. You never want to have to draw out of that savings account, but one day you're going to have to, right? Yeah. There's going to be a time that we fucked up.
Right.
Yeah. Right? We've fucked up with a good customer, but if we've built up that savings account of knowing that we've always taken care of, whether it's our fault or not, we've always been there to take care of you. That time that it does come, we're like, hey, look, we missed it. It was supposed to leave out Friday, and it didn't leave. It left Monday. I apologize. Yeah. We've built up a history, and that salesman's built up a history. The Roadster Shop's built up a history. We paid into that piggy bank where it's like, hey, I need to make a small withdrawal of sorry.
Yep.
We've fucked up, right? But you got to do that. Because if it's always like, it's not my problem, we tried to do better, whatever, then you've got a history of never really giving a fuck.
Yeah. Well, and you owned it too, right? You said, hey, it happened. We're sorry. Whatever.
Right.
Sometimes people like that too. Instead of bullshitting me like, yeah, we were ready, but the truck didn't show up.
Oh, the bullshit always gets you in way more trouble.
Yeah.
Always.
That somehow they find out.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're lying because, we talked to that truck driver, whatever.
Right.
It's much easier to remember the truth than to remember the bullshit and lies you construed to get there.
No doubt. No doubt.
Favorite car movie?
Gone in 60 Seconds.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Angelina Jolie or Nick Cage? Who's the star?
I mean, I think a little bit of both.
I think Nicolas Cage is probably best performance.
Yeah.
What happened?
No. Man. Con Air was way better.
Yeah. I feel like we've talked about this before, but
Con Air.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was American Treasure, National Treasure.
Those are good.
Those are pretty solid. My kids.
I don't think I've ever watched them.
They're pretty good.
Oh, watch it.
Really?
Yeah, it is good. You're right.
I always thought it was like a Disney movie, like a kids.
It's entertaining.
Indiana Jones-ish.
Okay. Con Air's good.
Yeah.
Con Air was good.
It could be considered a car movie.
Con Air?
Yeah.
What do they have for a car?
Remember the vet goes out the plane?
Back, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like it's mid-year, right?
C2, yeah. That was a good movie. Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Creepy weirdo in that.
Yeah, he's odd.
Yeah.
You talked about the 78 Camaro. Was that the very first car?
77 Ford LTD.
Oh, man.
I
I would have never guessed that. Never again. I'm glad you said it because it would have been all over the place.
First car, yeah.
Usually try to guess first car, but that'd be a mystery.
Yeah, it came from my aunt.
Did you total it? Destroy it? Jump it?
Actually, that car, I could never blow the engine in that car. We blew 3 rear ends and 2 transmissions and never blew the engine. In fact, we took that car to go visit a friend in college. This is a great story. And it burned oil. So what I would usually do is just take the used oil out of other cars and just put that in. Because, not spending any money. But we went down to Missouri to go visit a friend in college. We had to stop more for oil than we did for gas. So my buddy'd be like, hey, dude, we got to stop. He's like, why? We out of fuel? No, dude, the check engine light's back on. We're running out of oil again. Put more oil in it. We were on our way.
It's like Butler's Wagoneer.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that with my OBS. So you'd come to a stop and you'd see the oil pressure drop. And you just brake torque it a little bit and bring the RPMs up and it would spin it up to give it some oil pressure. And then you knew just pour a little more in it.
That 350?
Yeah.
Those things notoriously had low oil pressure in those. So car, movie.
We're gonna hit the police one on this one because we're going through our standard segments.
Yeah.
And we hit
Boilerplate questions.
yeah.
Yeah, these are ones we
boilerplate
do
stuff.
every single guest.
So we do like your best run in with law enforcement, and I feel you've had so much fast shit that there's got to be something good.
Your favorite interaction. With,
And that's, I mean, I hate to say it, but this just happened, within the last probably year and a half.
sweet.
I had the 67 Camaro out,
Yeah.
and my buddy Dimitri was driving a Ferrari, and we were out at a friend's house on a Saturday afternoon, hanging out at the pool. We decided to go back to his place. We were down on Roosevelt Road, and I mean, we were drunk, but we definitely had a couple drinks in us, right? So we were feeling no pain, and we were coming down Roosevelt Road, and we're getting after it. And we kind of got underneath the 355, bypass, and just hammered it. And I looked down. I was doing, I think, 122. He was behind me trying to catch me, and all of a sudden I see the lights come out. He must have been sitting on the side of the road, and he pulls up, and of course, pulls me over first, and my buddy pulls over, and he just walks up to the car. He's just shaking his head. He goes, I don't even know what the fuck to say to you right now. And I'm like, because I'm doing, yeah. I go,
Me neither.
yeah. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, this is just not going to be good, right? And he's like, who's that guy in front of you? I'm like, oh, it's my buddy, blah, blah, blah. So he's checking us out. He comes back. He's like, listen, he goes, I happen to be a car guy, and this fucking car is badass.
Yes.
He goes, so I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm just going to write you a minor speeding ticket and send you guys on your way. And he did. He was totally cool. It was it.
What did he write you for?
I don't remember, but it was enough that I could just go supervision. I just
Nice.
mailed it in. It was not, he did not push it with me.
Did
But,
I want to ask? You had a decent drive home after that still, from that little interaction, right?
oh yeah.
30-minute
Yeah.
drive.
Right.
home,
So I've had similar law enforcement interactions, and I've also had a drive. There's a couple of different ways you spend that after the fact. One, it's like, oh shit, I'm just going to obey all the laws. I got out of jail free, right? So I'm going to get home. Then there's also the ones of like, what's the odds of getting pulled over a second time? Fuck
No.
it.
Which one did you choose?
I've chosen both different ones.
That's the difference between you and Scott.
Yeah. I was definitely more conservative. And,
Let's play all
I
the
decided
rules.
to follow rules on the way home.
Josh thought he was fucking Superman.
Not conservative with like the business decisions, conservative with the legal law enforcement
I get it.
decisions.
I do not need 2 tickets in one night.
And wait, what are the odds though?
No,
Yeah, 120 and a
Right.
55, that's a tough one.
They don't like it.
45.
45, yeah, that's even worse.
He said that he clocked me at 75 before I stood on it because I was already kind of speeding apparently when I was going under the viaduct. And he's like, I can't believe you didn't see me there. I'm like, no, I was pretty focused on driving
Should have
the
had your
car."
lights on then.
Yeah.
And that one had Dakota digital gauges in
I
it too, so there was there was no excuse.
Out of curiosity, what was the gap between me and that Ferrari back there?
Yeah. He was trying to catch me.
2 car lengths, 3. Where
Yeah,
we
that's
at?
good. What is it, like a 488 or?
It was an 812. It was my 812.
Oh, that's
actually.
a fast car
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It says it right in the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super fast.
It's not only fast, it's super fast. What's next on the agenda car wise? You said you got 5. What's the 5 that are in your head right this very second?
So we got 78 pickup.
Yeah, we're doing
What are we doing? You guys are working on that right
doing
now.
crew cab legend right now.
We got a 68 Charger,
Yep.
right? I'm sitting on an 89 Mustang GT with very low miles, which I'm still debating whether or not we're going to take the thing apart and do a build
tear it
kind of
up.
like we did on the GN.
Man, that's a nice car.
It is a nice car.
It's a nice car.
There's a couple people listening right now
What-
that have
what-
brought that car up when we've teased around talking about doing it. They're like, don't
What are
touch
the
that car.
miles on it? It's like low, right?
3,500, 34.
1,500, something like that.
Oh yeah,
It's under $5,000.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a fucking peach. That thing
it
is.
is.
Nice.
We might just have to get another one and keep that one
Yeah.
untouched.
You're a Chicago guy, so are you hooked? You like GT fastback or like on the LX notchback?
There was, back in the 80s, there were some guys that were building both, right?
Yeah.
So I remember there was a really badass notchback and a really badass, fastback. So, I could go either way.
Yeah, I'm torn on them. That was, I mean, from a nostalgic standpoint, that was kind of like my generation too.
Yeah.
I mean, those were coming about, but they were all GTs, fastback GTs, and I was dusting them in like Camaro.
GTs were always about somebody that had something to
But
compensate
I've
for.
gravitated. I don't know if it's your influence, but I've gravitated more towards the LX trunk car.
The notchback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were a little faster.
Yeah, they're for
So,
notchbacks were always dudes have bigger dongs anyway. So notchbacks were I'm telling you, it was fucking fact. Any
inspected
Fox
a lot
body
of
guy
them.
would tell you.
Okay.
GT
Hey, if anybody would know, I'll take your word for it.
GT guys were always GTs are cool.
I just
Ain't
sent you
nothing
that
like
one
it.
on Bring a Trailer yesterday.
know.
That went for like 15 grand.
I know it was a 4i one though. It was cool, but it was a 4i.
Yeah.
What's the oddball? You got any oddball stuff that you look at that you're like,
But I still
or a guilty pleasure? Like
had too
something
much
that
shit going on yesterday.
I probably shouldn't do that, or that's a little weird, but
no,
there's nothing out there.
no, I don't think so. 70 Chevelle's on the list.
Yeah.
As it turns out, I was conceived in the back of a 70 Chevelle. So I was talking to my dad about, some of the different cars are kind of on my list. And I told him a 70 Chevelle. He's like, well, why do you think that is? So I don't know. I just got a thing for 70 Chevelles. He said, you were conceived in the back one. I said, well, that explains it.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to have one of those. Then.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we got the 68 Charger. We talk about
Yeah.
that yet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Charger, that one's just
That one's gonna be cool.
chilling, waiting its turn. That's a neat car.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
We decided on a color on that one yet?
Well, I think we're talking about a silver. I think, we've gone full circle from crazy colors back to,
Come back home.
yeah, I think we're going to stick with a cool silver.
Cool.
Yeah, the silver.
I'm happy with that. I was a little scared on the purple side.
See, I feel like when
you were going
when I
plum
started
crazy for a while.
See, that's what I feel like. You guys are like, no. When he's talking plum crazy and green, like that car's staying right in the fucking storage unit until he comes
He
to his
conceded.
senses and he's ready to make a good decision.
We'll
on
just
the
wait it
color.
out. We'll just wait it
Then
out.
we'll pull
He
it
still
out.
doesn't want silver. He just wants it fucking worked on. So
Yeah.
it's like, fuck it. I don't care. Paint it whatever you want to. Just get some.
Interesting approach.
Yeah.
What was the one we did? Who just did that one we were looking at? Had a hood scoop on the top, and because we were talking about maybe.
The Ring Brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a really. I mean, that
Yeah,
thing
that was
is
a
badass.
That was a sharp car. The color combo, the black and gold.
Yeah, and the stance, just the stance with the way the hood scoop is on it.
Yeah, the stem is the same chssy.
Yeah.
That's under your
I mean,
car. So
that's kind of got my.
I mean, I think we'll do it a little bit nicer than them. They just, those Ring guys. I don't know about those guys.
Well, I don't know. I don't know either.
They're good dudes.
I heard they did good work.
yeah,
They did.
beautiful work.
Jeremy just likes to
I know.
bust their
I know
balls.
he's
God, I gotta
busting their
poke
balls.
any
It's just,
chance we
it
get.
put me in an awkward situation because I don't want.
But it's a
They're
good
not going to
example.
hear anywhere. The hearing aids
Yeah.
don't pick up fucking
But
podcasts.
it's a sick car. Yeah, sick car.
The classic car studio one's pretty badass
Yeah,
too.
they had another one just came out. Classic Car Studio. Just
God, that thing was slick.
they won Street Machine of the Year with it. It's on our chassis. That fucking car's badass. It's
Great
A,
color combo.
it's a Hemi, but they kept it naturally aspirated. Oh no, that's like a fucking.
It's the-
like a 440, isn't
It's
it?
the numbers matching. It's the actual engine that was
Yeah.
in the damn car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
a 440.
It's under the stock.
That's
stockish
cool.
hood. Yeah.
We got to pick a motor for that.
Yeah, we got to lock Casey down on.
Yeah.
Probably got to be some kind of Hemi stuff, just so we don't have to answer
I think we should.
all the
yeah.
negative
Yeah.
comments.
Oh, fuck
Agreed.
that shit.
Yeah, you can make some good power with those things now.
Do it LS, make it look like a 318.
They they finally come around. There's enough aftermarket support for those Hemis now. You could do something cool.
Well, I'll tell you, Casey did a great job on the GN motor.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, when it comes to boosted, I mean, just any badass LS LT stuff.
He's the guy
He's got it going on.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we got to plan a road tour. That's the next on the agenda.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
get something planned for the end of the year if possible.
Road tour, road trip. We got we're doing the fucking dunes this winter.
Well,
That's going down.
The Dunes is
But,
easy.
We got to get your truck done because everybody's itching to do a legend truck road tour.
All
so
right.
that's
You have like a Moab or
yeah. Is
Where you
those
somewhere
thinking?
cool like that. Somewhere out west.
Yeah.
Mountains, a little bit of off-roading, a little bit of road tour.
It's a great idea.
yeah.
Yeah, some UTVs, some shooting. some
Go
hunting,
fuck
some
around in
fishing.
Yellowstone again.
Yeah.
There was some cool ass driving through there.
Fuck with some buffalo over
Dude,
there.
I've seen a lot of videos on Instagram. People getting fucked up by buffalo.
Yeah, dude,
I'd
they
love to
will.
see one. You bet you haven't seen one of Josh. I'd love to see that.
You think between me and you, I'm the one that's going to get fucked up by a buffalo? You take way more liberties than I do.
Well, I could see me encouraging you that you would not, to the
Okay.
point where
Yeah.
you do.
Valid point.
But yeah, we'll get something together. We'll get that truck done. Let's get something on the books.
I think those Legends trucks out in the West Coast would be an awesome trip and great for pictures, right?
Yeah, phenomenal.
You guys are doing a great job on those. I see them
Thank
all
you.
over out in the parking lot in the showroom. They're everywhere.
Yeah, we got a whole mess of the Blazers knocked out, and all the crew cabs, and
Cool.
yeah.
It's the ultimate daily
And
driver.
mine's moving along good.
Yeah.
I was out there checking on it before we came up here.
Yeah,
That
thing's-
thing was solid.
Yeah, we scored like the best donor truck ever. That was totally like cheap too, because those guys are asking a lot of money for those crew cabs. now.
Yeah.
And that
It was like a military vehicle. or
yeah. The
something?
guy said the guy was a nice dude.
He was
too,
a nice
right?
dude. He turned out to be a really nice guy, even though the title got lost in the mail. And
Did you get it eventually?
he got a replacement title. He went through all that, and then
Nice.
it showed up in the mail like all messed up, like a month later.
Oh,
So
is there enough there to get it transferred? Or
no, he got a replacement, so I'm
Oh,
good.
oh,
We're
gotcha.
solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a super clean truck, and it's nice. Random Facebook Marketplace deal, but it's
Yeah.
funny sometimes dealing with guys like that. The guy was solid.
So cool. Yeah, they spray painted it blue.
Yeah,
But it was an old military truck, so it's kind of hard to see. But
I guess they said when they leave the base, they've got to spray
Change
over
the
it.
colors.
Yeah, it was like house paint, like roller.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know it was a military truck.
Yeah.
Then.
Took the seats out and it was like that dark blue and just everything was flawless inside. And came back from being media blasted, and it's solid ass truck.
Comes
That's
in.
going to be cool. That one's going to be really cool. Scott, it's been awesome, man.
Been a pleasure.
hey,
man.
thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the
Appreciate you
invite.
taking the time, man.
Hey, no problem.
We're going to. I hear you're into F1. You want to go to F1 race or
Let's
something
go,
like that
dude.
sometime?
Let's go.
They don't really care much about F1,
Yeah,
so
let's do it. You want to
Yeah.
go to F1? I mean, there's other stuff we could be doing too. We could talk about
we
it.
could do some cool shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys work it out.
Is that
Yeah.
go-kart track still open in Wheeling? Or did that close down?
Somebody got killed there.
We'll see you again next week.